Before we begin the review, I just want to recite to you guys a little poem I made, just because I think it really helps set the mood for this film. Roses are red, Dumbledore's a liar, Harry.
You put your name in the Goblet of Fire.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is directed by Mike Newell, and I have to say, I love this movie. I think Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is an amazing film, and I know book fans are slightly on edge whenever you say that, and honestly, I have to say, Goblet of Fire is my second favourite Harry Potter film. I love this movie so much. This movie is so well paced, it moves at such a clip, it establishes a wonderful tone, and despite what book fans say, I think this movie is great. I think it's a really good adaptation of the Triwizard Tournament section of the book. Yes, the film misses out some of the crucial elements of, the Hogwarts year, but I still think as a film it's a really enjoyable, solid experience, and it's just really strong. I think this movie is so thrilling and entertaining, and just it's one of the reasons why I love it so much. Yes, this movie misses out key plot points from the books, and yes, I will mention that, but for squeezing this 600-page book into about 2.5 hours, Mike Newell did a phenomenal job. He made a fun, thrilling, exciting film, and just such a cool film. The younger cast really seem to have hit their stride as actors. Daniel Radcliffe is great, Emma Watson is great, and Rupert Grint is also very great too. I mean, he was always great. But, similar to Ron in the book, he is going through a bit of an adolescence because, man, Ron is just an asshole in Goblet of Fire.
Piss off.
Now, in the Prisoner of Azkaban review, I mentioned Daniel Radcliffe's hair and how that was the definitive Harry Potter hair. And, I mean, it is. The Prisoner of Azkaban hairstyle is incredible, it's amazing. And his hair in Goblet of Fire is a weird extension of that in the sense of, like, it's much longer and it's much more crazy, and I kind of love it because it's really cool and awesome. And it seems like most of the male cast in the film thought it was really cool too, because they all seem to have grown out their hair as well, and just none of them seem to pull it off as much as Daniel Radcliffe does. Now, Goblet of Fire is the film that really tainted the image of Michael Gambon as Dumbledore for me. He's all over the place in this movie. He is so unnecessarily angry, like, what the hell happened to the calm, polite Dumbledore that we saw in Prisoner of Azkaban? Like, he was so perfect in Azkaban. In this movie, we get this.
Harry, you put your name in the Goblet of Fire.
Like, what the hell is he doing? Is he trying to kill him or something? Like, what is that acting choice? What?
Goblet of Fire.
Like, seriously, what is up with Dumbledore in this movie? He is just so unnecessarily angry. Like, did somebody, like, kick him in the balls in every scene? Because, like, the bit where Harry's just talking to him about the pensive, and then there's this bit where Dumbledore's just like, oh, I had a thought or something, and it slips away, and it's like, calm down, Gambon, it's not that serious. Now, other additions to the cast in this movie, like Brendan Gleeson as Mad-Eye Moody, David Tennant as Barty Crouch Jr., the motherfucking Batman Robert Pattinson himself as Cedric Diggory, like, he's so underrated in this movie. Timothy Spall also returns as Peter Pettigrew as Wormtail, and I forgot to mention him in the Prisoner of Azkaban review, but he is honestly amazing. He is so good as Wormtail, he's incredibly underrated. And of course, you have the amazing Ralph Fiennes as Lord Voldemort. I love his Voldemort so much, he's wonderful. Now, before I talk about the best scenes or my favourite scenes in the film, I have to mention the deleted scene which includes the Hogwarts song.
Hogwarts, Hogwarts, Hoggy Woggy Hogwarts, teach us something, please. Whether we be old and bold or young with scabby knees.
Holy shit, why did they cut that scene? That was phenomenal. That was incredible. It was so glorious. Daniel Radcliffe is singing his heart out. Crabbe and Goyle is too. It's amazing. Our heads could do with filling with some interesting stuff. It's so good. But anyways, on to my favourite scene slash the best scenes of the film. The build up to the Quidditch World Cup is actually really great. Though, I have no idea what the hell Cedric is doing up a tree. This is Robert Pattinson pre-Twilight days. He's not Edward Cullen yet, so what's he doing up a tree?
This strapping young lad must be Cedric, am I right?
I'm vengeance.
But the build up to the Quidditch World Cup is awesome. Like, when they're in the stadium, they're getting ready to see the match. You see the Irish come in, the little leprechauns flying in the air, and then the Bulgarians come in and, like, Crumb, like, burst through it, and the music starts playing the dun, 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 and you see Crumb, like, you know, flipping, like, doing all his flips in the air, and it's really cool. Although Harry gets way too excited. Like, Harry doesn't even know who that is, and he's like, yeah! That's really amusing to me. But yeah, we have all this great build-up, the match begins, and they cut away. Like, seriously? That feels like such a big middle finger to the audience. Like, what the hell? Why do all that build up and not give us anything? Like, at least give us a montage or something, like, what the hell? Now, I do think that would be a much bigger complaint if Mike Newell didn't actually give us an amazing broomstick chase around the castle with Harry and the Hungarian Horntail. Like, the first task to me is so fun and thrilling. Like, one, the Hungarian Horntail looks so photoreal. I mean, it is insane. Like, that thing looks so real. Like, for many years, I thought that thing was real. And even now, looking at the Horntail, I'm like scanning every corner of the frame going like, where's the CG? Where's the obvious CG? I can't spot it. That thing looks fucking phenomenal. But two, the music in that scene is just so exciting and thrilling, and like the choreography of like, you know, Harry like zipping around the turrets and the towers, it's amazing. The first task is so well done. And then of course you've got all the Yule Ball stuff, like Harry and Ron trying to find dates. It's really funny and fun and relatable. I mean, I also love the scene with Harry and Cho in the owlery. Like, God, it's awkward, but it's so good. Oh, Cho, I was wondering if perhaps maybe you wanted to go to the ball with me. Oh, God bless you, Daniel Radcliffe. Your line delivery is amazing. The build up to the second task, and the second task itself is really great. I really like the prefect's bathroom sequence with Harry moaning Myrtle. Like, I don't know why. I think it's just the Mer people song in the Golden Egg. It's so catchy. And the second task itself is really cool. The way they design the Black Lake is really cool. Though I do think a missed opportunity and a little Easter egg for book fans would have been to have had a shot of the giant squid that is like in the Hogwarts lake. I think they should have included that in the film. That'd have been a real cool Easter egg. But yeah, the whole second task sequence is amazing. Like, if you guys haven't seen the behind the scenes, I recommend you check it out. Like, seeing Daniel Radcliffe going into those blue screen tanks and filming it, it's really cool. Especially seeing him like train to be able to film that sequence. It's really great stuff. And then of course you've got the big graveyard battle at the end with Harry and Voldemort. It's amazing. The Priori Incantatum is so great. I mean, Patrick Doyle's score in that scene is amazing. Plus you just get Ralph Fiennes chewing up all the scenery as Lord Voldemort. He's amazing. You know, he's all like holding the wand with his weird Voldemort grip like this, and he's all like, Crucia! He's amazing. God, I love him. And his makeup / CGI hybrid is amazing. That slimy snake-looking skin, the snake nose, and his manky feet with his long-ass toenails. Like, guys, disgusting. It's great.
Oh. Such a handsome boy.
Don't touch him! And the scene where people find out that Cedric Diggory is dead. Holy shit, is that a chilling scene. Last time I watched it, I fully cried. It is such an emotional scene. Like, I mean, not only does it start off all like happy, like, oh my god, we're playing the happy we're playing that music, but then, you know, as the scene goes on and people realize that he's dead, and then you get the actor who plays Amos Diggory and he sees the dead Cedric Diggory and he's like, that's my son! That's my boy! Like, yes, I'll take the mick out of it for sure, but I mean, in context of the film, it is it is chilling. I actually cried because his reaction felt so genuine. It's a heartbreaking scene, and I love it. Now getting on to the comparisons to the book. I actually think a strong decision is just having the film open with Harry at the Weasleys already. I mean, yes, it would have been nice to have had the scene where the Weasleys try to pick up Harry from number 4 Privet Drive, and then they get stuck in the electric fire because obviously the fireplace is all blocked up and they try to use flue powder. It's a really entertaining scene in the book, plus the way Stephen Fry reads it is amazing. Mr. Weasley, can you hear me? An eclectic fire, you say? Yes, it's a great scene in the book, I love it, but the film makes the stronger choice in just getting rid of it and having the movie just start with Harry at the Weasleys. Harry getting knocked out during the Death Eater riot was a little dumb. In fact, it's pretty dumb. One, how does he not get trampled to death by the oncoming crowd? And two, how does the random Death Eater not see that, oh my god, Harry Potter is just there on the floor, and then take him straight to Voldemort? I have to say, I like the decision to get rid of the scene where Sirius visits them in Hogsmeade, because I mean, one, that scene in the book is important to help develop the Barty Crouch subplot, but since the film pretty much cuts out the Barty Crouch subplot, it kind of helps add to the feeling that Harry is really alone in this tournament. Now, the exclusion of Dobby in this film, I think, wasn't a bad thing. If anything, the film makes a really logical case as to getting rid of Dobby, because in the book, Moody gives Neville the book on Gillyweed, and he even points out in the book that he was hoping Neville would give Harry the Gillyweed. And in the film, they just went, yeah, why waste money, CGI creating Dobby, when we can just have Neville give Harry the Gillyweed. So honestly, although I would have loved to have seen Spew and Dobby, I think getting rid of that was fine. Though, in Order of the Phoenix, I have no idea why they got rid of Dobby in that movie. Like, that film had time to include him. Also, I'm completely fine that they got rid of the blast-ended Scroots, because not only do I find that subplot kind of boring in the books, but also it just makes no sense. I don't get why Dumbledore would allow Hagrid to keep these, illegal magical creatures in the Hogwarts ground. And not only that, he makes the students try to look after them even though they are extremely dangerous. It's really dumb and stupid, and just I'm glad the movie got rid of it. Though that being said, they really should have included a Scroot in the maze, because I mean, that would have at least been a cool Easter egg for book fans. And speaking of the maze, it's a bit meh. Like, oh no, it's a very dark, scary maze with moving hedges, ooh. Like, no, that's just crap. Especially when you compare it to the one in the book where, there's the mist that turns you upside down, there's the Sphinx, there's the spiders. Like, the maze in the book is just 1,000 times cooler. And yeah, I get that the movie is going for this thing like, oh, you'll lose yourself in the maze, you'll become all selfish, and you'll let your friends die. Like, the sequence where Harry and Cedric are running towards the cup, and then Harry saves Cedric from the roots. Like, yeah, that's cool, it's nice, and like, that's probably the best part of the scene. It's really good. It's just that when you compare the maze and the books, it's just better. Now, the interrogation of Barty Crouch Jr. is again much better in the books, because I mean, there's actually a character and a story reason for it in the books. Like, here in the movie, it's, oh, here's all the big revelations, and that's sort of it. But in the book, it actually proves the point that Barty Crouch Jr., although in the pensive flashbacks we think he is a innocent young boy, he actually isn't. He was corrupted and turned evil by Voldemort. And the scene in the book just proves that. It's a nice payoff. But because the movie just simplifies Barty Crouch Jr., they just make him evil for the sake of being evil. With that being said, David Tennant is amazing in both scenes. I mean, the tongue thing he does, like, it's so weird, but it's such a cool choice. He's hamming it up. It's amazing. And the pensive scene just has so many iconic quotes like, the name! Give me the wretched name! Barty Crouch Jr. It's so good. But when you compare it to the books, it's way too over the top, and it just dumbs down the characters. Also, the film doesn't show Barty Crouch Jr. getting kissed by the Dementors, so it kind of begs the question as to why David Tennant doesn't show up in any of the later films. Like, that would have been really cool if he just showed up again in Deathly Hallows. But all in all, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is my second favourite Harry Potter film. I think it is so fun and exciting. It is so just cool on a grand scale. I mean, there's dragons, there's flying, there's mermaids, there's Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort, there's David Tennant. It's awesome. The score, I mean, holy crap, is the score by Patrick Doyle iconic. The opening theme, I think it's called The Story Continues. Oh my god, I think that is the best rendition of Hedwig's theme ever. Like, the dun 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 dun. It's so cool, like, oh my god. Also, Harry in Winter is a wonderful piece of music. You've got like that Hogwarts trumpeting theme, you know, the but I'm getting carried away with myself. The score for the film is amazing, and honestly, I think Mike Newell did a really good job at condensing the novel down into a theatrical runtime. Though there are some things he didn't do particularly well. But that's what I think of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, follow me on social media, all that good stuff. It's all down in the description. Until we meet again, see you guys next time.